we have added another problem, which is making things even worse, which is taking us backwards and not forward. And what is that? It is the seeming policy of division and exclusion, marginalization of a certain group. That is not good for business. The political instability and tension is not encouraging investment. Division on tribal lines does not consolidate peace. It perpetuates resentment. Now, yesterday, in the opening statement of our leaders, we were inspired in so many ways that we saw that our leaders, for the first time, admitting to faults and willing to take responsibility. But we also see that there is a big gap between rhetoric and reality. We are preaching peace, yet we are undermining those institutions that foster peace. We can give countless examples, but I don't want to bore you right now with examples. Let me just mention a few. You cannot preach peace and you're sacking people who are guaranteed with security of tenure under the Constitution and the statute.
Yes, we have received my letter now from the HR. This is my letter of termination of contract. SSL.
Alpha Somali Kote. Alpha Somali Kote. Edward Bangura. Edward Bangura.
Termination.
Mohamed Kago. Mohamed Kago.
This is termination of service.
They are going to cry foul, as you know. We have to change certain people when we come in. It's done all over the world. Biden did his, and nobody will accuse him of tribalism, regionalism, and that's the same thing that is done in the UK and elsewhere around the world. But for the most part, we have not pushed out anybody from the civil service.
Yeah, but in certain offices, you'd expect that somebody shouldn't lose their job because, you know, of a change in establishment.
Like which office?
Like in certain parastatals, lots of people lost their jobs when he became president. Not necessarily because of fraudulently or
I'm going to be judged by my performance and delivery. If you are in the opposition and you are going to be a hurdle in my way, I have to get somebody who understands me, who believes in my own manifesto pledges.
A hurdle by not supporting you, or a hurdle by undermining your establishment, or what?
Both. Both. They do a range of things, you know, with completely unnecessary.
Should somebody lose their job, Mr. President, because they did not support you?
I did not talk about support.
You said both, Mr. President.
Maybe if somebody does not support me, he is likely to be a hurdle. Much more likely to be a hurdle.
You cannot preach peace and you impose a speaker on parliament against the majority party in parliament. We cannot preach peace when it seems like appointments are being done on tribal lines.
Of progressive political parties, you get then now they represent the APC, then you get Dr. Dennis Bright for the NGC. Where are the others? PMDC, C4C, ADP, so we all then we get a press statement. Now, Pansane go introduce the program. Thank you, sir.
So, on behalf of the COP, the consortium of progressive political parties, we want to take this opportunity to thank our members of parliament, to also thank members of the 13 registered political parties who have decided to stand on the side of truth, to stand on the side of our people, the suffering people of Sierra Leone. It is not 3 but 13 out of 17 that have taken the progressive step of saying no to tyranny. A repetition of approving people without going through due process has been denounced by our people. On that note, it is my pleasure to introduce the chairman and leader of the NGC to read a statement on behalf of the cause. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. It's a press statement by the consortium of progressive political parties made on the occasion of parliamentary approval session on the SLPP government's imposition of Mrs. Zainab Mosire as next Commissioner, Western Region, 27th October 2021. Today, this 28th day of October in the year 2021 marks another important milestone in the annals of democracy in Sierra Leone. Progressive opposition parties in parliament have spoken with one voice on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone that we will no longer tolerate the dictatorial actions of the current SLPP government and their persistent violations of the Constitution. You will recall that on the 16th of September 2021, we, the members of the consortium of progressive political parties, signed a memorandum of understanding in which we declared as our main aim to defend democracy in Sierra Leone and to vigorously oppose all types of political oppression, intimidation, and authoritarian tendencies. The consortium further agreed to instruct their representatives in Parliament to consult and agree on common positions to be taken on items listed on the order paper, because it is important that the consortium is working and seen to be working as a united front in Parliament. This is why we are here today, to stand by our members of Parliament who have responded to our call to condemn the imposition of Mrs. Zainab Mosire as Commissioner for the Western Region at the National Electoral Commission by staging a peaceful walkout from Parliament. This action today is a signal to the government that the people of Sierra Leone have simply had enough. The people are aware of the irregular and undemocratic manner in which the Speaker was imposed on our Parliament. The people are aware of how elected opposition members of Parliament were physically thrown out of Parliament to be replaced by SLPP members, not through by-election, but by court decision. The people are aware that contrary to the provisions of Section 32, subsection 3 of the 1991 Constitution, which stipulates that members of the Electoral Commission shall be appointed after consultation with the leaders of all registered political parties and subject to approval of Parliament, the government would either not consult all registered parties or would simply notify them after making the appointment.
Fabul, good evening and welcome to another edition of the program Time for NGC, where they come to you on African Young Voices Television, Channel 33, and also you get to be live on AYV Radio 101.7 FM. You get to be also live on the AYV Facebook page. Time for NGC, na a paid-up program where the National Grand Coalition they bring come to UNA. Me, your name na Dr. Doma. Over the past years, various officials and successive governments them don't, in general, don't think say they can do things deliberately and go scot-free. Well, I go pose the question. Now so if I be or now so if I continue. The independence of state institutions. This is the topic for today. To help me talk on this, I get with me Ibrahim O'Shea, a representative from the NGC, lawyer Hadi Macaulay, and also on Zoom we get Chernoh Bah from the Africanist Press. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to the program. Good evening, Hadi Macaulay.
Good evening, listeners and viewers.
O'Shea.
Good evening, Sierra Leone. Good evening, everyone.
And on Zoom, Chernoh Bah. Good evening and welcome to the program. Okay, so Yusuf can be part of the program by way of you go call or text now the number +232 78 330299. The number again +232 78 330299, or the number of the show now your screen. You can either drop your comments also now the AYV Facebook page. We want to start the discussion proper. And firstly, I'll go start with you, lawyer Hadi Macaulay. We did talk about the independence of state institutions. So the first question, for we build the premise, I go out for ask first. The law make any provision for state institutions them say therefore be independence?
Obviously, the answer to that question is yes. You know, when you look at the various state institutions, the way responsible for good governance and multi-party democracy, they get laws that we bring them come into being. For example, you get the National Electoral Commission Act of 2002, you get the Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2008 as amended by the 2019, you get the FIU Act, you get the Audit Service Sierra Leone Act. All of the institutions and the institutions that we're supposed to be independent institutions. Let me just take you to, for example, the Electoral Commission. You look at Section 3 of the National Electoral Commission Act, we tell you, say, you know, inconsistent with the provisions of Section 33, subsection 11 of the 1991 Constitution. The National Elections Commission for be an independent and impartial institution, we for carry out in work without fear or favor, or not for the under the control or direction of any person, authority or body. And when you look at Section 9 of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008 again, you get the same wording with the use in the performance of its function. The commission shall not be under the direction or control of any person or authority. So definitely we get the laws, then we give the independent institutions here the space for able to do their work dispassionately so that we will foster with democracy and develop the country.
Okay, so I don't know if I could bring in Chernoh Bah. Okay, so as the technicians they work on them, so we want to watch on, for now, let me just target for the discussion to two great institutions, where one of which get to do with the National Electoral Commission and the other one get to deal with the Anti-Corruption Commission. So I'll still go there with you, Barrister Hadi Macaulay. What do you feel, say, are some of the reasons them, because you know the premise say the law actually give the institutions there, so the full for let them be more independent, okay? But what do you feel are some of the reasons then we can make the institutions there so can tend for the go the other way, not can be so independent?
Well, first of all, it gets to do with the integrity of the people the way that they appoint going at the institutions here. Take, for example, the Anti-Corruption Commission Act will tell you, say, na person we get conspicuous probity, now in the for appoint as commissioner with the And of course, not to talk of the National Elections Commission, the NEC, we now the institution and the way responsible for ensure say we get credible and fair elections. So it goes without saying that the integrity of the institution is very important. If there is a single deficit in the integrity of the institution, then people will get trust in it because then capital, now integrity and fairness. And some of the reasons I believe say they make the institutions here not for able for work, within the space of the neutrality and independence where they're supposed for work under now because of political interference. When you get the institutions here, for example, the audit service, the auditor general, you get the anti-corruption commissioner, you get the ombudsman, you get various, heads of the institution. Where you get law, we say, then people are people that they just remove from office. If you want to remove them from office, you get for remove them for stated misconduct or reasons, and you also get for follow certain procedures. For example, like the ACC commissioner, you get the director of public prosecutor, or even members of the bench and the judiciary. If you want for pull them, you get for go through a process where you set up an independent commission. We go look into whatever stated misconduct they say the various holders of the offices here don't commit. And if there is any reason why you feel say therefore remove them, you send this report, go Parliament, and Parliament, like in the case of the anti-corruption commissioner, Parliament gave a vote in favor of removing him by 2/3 majority. So basically, when you talk about the removal of them people, and a Parliament get the power for remove them. But we see in the past few years, we get commissioners of the ACC, ombudsman, you name it, Chief Justice, they remove them without going the due process. So this is now one of the things in way they affect the independence of the institution, because the tenure, the security of tenure of the office, now paper no more there. When it comes to really putting it into action, they at all, they don't get security of tenure in terms of practice. So this is one of the reasons when we make, they're not independent, because they will always try for, pander to the whims and caprices of the executive or the supreme commander, or however the supreme executive authority, the president or whatever, and that is the problem we get.
Okay, so O'Shea, let me bring you in again. Now, as you rightly hear from Adi Macaulay, you coming from the NGC, representative from the NGC. What thing the NGC make of all of these, the independence of some of the state institutions there?
We constitution, the Sierra Leone constitution, now a hybrid of the Westminster, British, and also combined with the American system of governance. And inside the constitution, there are certain institutions where they say for be independent, but they not tell we how it for be independent. But we, the state actors, the citizens, now we responsibility for make sure say then institution be independent. For example, the PPRC. We all know say the PPRC boss now the president they appoint him. And we all know say PPRC now then they regulate political parties' activities. And it would time for interfere into the administration of these political parties, and that na a recipe for chaos. So, for example, the NGC recommend in the conference where PPRC hold for review the act that we totally believe say the head of the PPRC, the chairman, the commissioners should not be appointed by the president. And we further went for say if anybody hold position in political party, for example, as the chairman, the PRO, or the organizing secretary, if that political party can have power, that person not for hold government position, Because we don't see outside people, they use government vehicle, they go campaign. We don't see outside people and they become, for example, the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone People's Party. He doubles against as the Deputy Minister of Justice. If any election violence comes and he gets for going to court, how the judiciary will be independent when that particular person, they supervise the judiciary and also hold position within the political party. So as NGC, we say, you for hold one, let there be a distinct separation of power. Let people be independent. If they serve the political party, you serve as Secretary General or PRO. If they serve the government in any MDA directorate position or as a minister, you serve them. Because when you combine these two positions, for example, again, the chairman of SLPP, Prince Adi, the chairman and also the head an institution, whereby right that institution for be independent. And we know say many people campaign at the manifesto say then go depoliticize certain institutions then. PPRC for one, the NEC, the judiciary, even going to the central bank governor, because the aim of any country now for make sure say the economy viable, way for able to deal with the sustainability of the citizen then. If the person where they at the central bank just the print note for satisfy a paymaster, or if that person as a central bank governor where somebody take power, he remove and the institutional memory and the independence of that institution go be questioned because the person is being political. So as NGC, we believe say state institutions for be independent. That is why Barack Obama said, we don't need strong leaders. We need strong institutions. Strong institutions stand the test of time. Tijan Kaba creates institutions. He is no more as the president, but the institutions are surviving. If we just say because of now leaders, then we will portray and take them high, then the institutions will don't fall. But those institutions have to stand the test of time. The Human Rights Commission, the PPRC, the NEC, the judiciary, the police. Now they want to hold the fabric of democracy. If they are not independent, they are political, then there is a recipe for chaos.
Okay, so I want to say then go to work on Chernoh before we bring Chernoh in. I want to examine now the institutions there. So, and the first one I will take now NEC, National Electoral Commission. We I think the big one we happened 2 days ago was the reports from EU. Okay, so Adi Macaulay, make up bring you in again. So, I want to examine. Let me examine NEC. What do you say about NEC?
Okay, I will preface me discussion by going through the EU Observer Mission, their report. And please allow me to make a read them. The fourth paragraph of the report say the mission has been told that there is a significant decrease in the trust in the essential bodies which play integral roles in the forthcoming elections. These include the judiciary, the National Electoral Commission, the PPRC, and the Sierra Leone Police. So dealing with NEC, you know, NEC, now the institution we're responsible for organize free, fair, and credible elections. But when you look at NEC as presently constituted, you definitely realize, say, there is a deficit in confidence in the NEC where the people of Sierra Leone get in them. And you know, an electoral body in capital, like integrity and trust. So once you lost the trust of the people, when are you work for, then the job we do become very meaningless. And I will tell you, say, as it is now, the commissioner of NEC, Mr. Mohamed Kone, and also the institution itself get a deficit in the confidence and trust with people are getting them. And for very many reasons. One, when it comes to the by-elections, them way don't take place since the SLPP government take over office. You start with the council by-election somewhere
The first
The,
one?
the first one.
Okay.
Tonkolimba. In Tonkolimba.
Yeah.
We see where there was electoral violence, then come with a second election, where they believe say, the NCLPP councillor lost the elections. But at the very tallying stage, now there were allegations that NEC manipulate the elections. You come now constituency 110. We get a situation where you get the ruling government, the candidate, lost elections in the 2018 general elections, petition, they remove the sitting MP and declare a by-election. Only one of the 11 petitions them of MPs then we then declare by-election, because all the other one, now the courts just impose an MP for the constituencies where they declare, say the elections were void. We see the first by-election at constituency 110. We saw a sitting government minister, Cabinet Kalon, all ballot box and disrupt elections. We see somebody where allegedly they woke na immigration, all ballot box, scatter and kick them. And you see with police officers, then team up, they're all gone. And they were behaving as if they were powerless to stop the people that were going to interrupt. You get election offenses under the Public Elections Act of 2012. And you see, you come again to the by-elections in Kwenadugu constituency, Ward 155, and the Kwenadugu District Council chairman. It was marred by violence, and that besides, you get a situation where they don't vote, they count the votes, and those votes were captured in higher forms where members of the two political parties that we contest, that is the APC and the SLPP, the agents then sign say, these are the figures that came out when they count. Just at the very last stage of the tallying stage, where somebody where we taxpayers' money they pay and take an oath, say he could do in work without fear or favor, that na Edmond Alpha. At the tallying stage, somebody changes 0 to 1, we change the election's result from 49 for the SLPP candidate to 149, and yeah, an election with the margin of victory now just 7 votes between the declared winner and the person we actually is supposed for win. All of us seeing all of these things, you feel say we will get confidence in the electoral body we responsible for organized, credible, free and fair elections in this country. No, they need for do something, because if they want make we take them serious and make we accept, because we as Sierra Leoneans, we don't pass that stage where anybody go just go sit on a radio, announce what you want for announce. We know they take them again. We they pay you, you for doing work, and we will resist any attempt by anybody for try to manipulate the will of the people of this country.
Okay, so O'Shea, it's what you Adi Macaulay say just now. What do you feel say should be done for give that confidence them back to to Sierra Leoneans them back?
Plenty people they ask questions, say NGC no they participate in recent by-elections. You see, the purpose of forming a political party not for win election. Of course, we all know that, and you get for contest election before you win election. But NGC as a political party get the country in vision and believe say we for put Salon first. So we focus now on institutional reforms.
Okay.
If the institution we responsible for conduct election, not able to reform, for get best practice, then those elections are going to be marred by violence. And you go tell me which election will not happen right now, since this present dispensation in power, we're not marred by violence, we're not marred by rigging, we're not marred by so many malpractices. Okay. So we support EU for push recommendations and through NEC. Okay. For make sure say NEC do their recommendation that we do fit for make sure that the election in 2023 be fair to everybody and the citizens they will for be expressed at the end of the results. If you look na parliament, now why EU they question the independence of 3 institutions that are key for make sure that this country gets a peace: the PPRC, the NEC, and the judiciary. In parliament, the opposition walk out because they not favor a particular candidate and the procedure we then use for bring and nominate them, then force them. And he don't become now the Western Area Commissioner. You see, the independence of the institution here be backed by people where they make sure say the institution are not independent. And the people where they work for the institution here, no they able to look into the future, say, we are working not for somebody else's ambition. We are working not for just the government. We are working for the people of Sierra Leone. So thereby we should put our integrity top notch, work in the interest of Sierra Leone, and make sure that when you hold such office, you for do it with all due diligence and make sure say you do it with serious impartiality.
So I'm going to bring in now Chernoh Bah, we they right now on Zoom. Good evening again, Chernoh. Good evening again, Chernoh. You the get to me? Hello, Chernoh. Okay, I think we they get small issue. You they get to me now? I think we technician in the work on now, but we will definitely get them. Then a Chernoh Bah. Well, the program now time for NGC where they come to you on AYV television, channel 33, and also we are live on AYV radio 101.7 FM. Remember, say yourself can be part of the program. The number 078-3302-99 078-3302-99. You can send your text message or you can call now the line. I will definitely open the phone line later on, maybe sometime. You got questions then for ask we panelists then also this evening. So make a come back to you, Adi Macaulay. Okay, I think we don't get Chernoh now. Chernoh, welcome again to the program.
Thank you very much. I hope so good to overcome technical difficulties. Sure.
Well, at last we get you again. We'll get you back at the show. You get me?
Yes, I get to now.
Okay, so make I bring you in the discussion now. We talk on the independence of we state institutions them. And you know, as somebody, you know, one person was so vocal in your writings them and articles them. Of late, we see Usa, you do one article, you and the team, Africanist Press, do article for with regards to National Electoral Commission. And one of the institutions that we the probe right now, the program. What in this article actually me try for preach, me try for tell people them. I think they get problem with the sound here. Okay. Okay, Chernoh, you get to it? Hello, Chernoh.
Yes, hello. For some reason, the technical difficulties has not been overcome. I hardly hear what you ask, and.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. Say you're one person where vocal, and we don't see you writings them, you articles them where you don't publish, and one of which are the recent one where you do with regards to the National Electoral Commission, and one institution where we probe into today, because we deal with the independence of some state institutions them. So I think within you may actually the try for tell family them inside that article there.
Well, basically, the
Wow. We'll get issue there. But anyway, let me run the program. Don't forget to say, yourself can be part of the program. I open the phone line 078 330299 078 330299. Well, we will bring Chernoh in again. I see you got something you want for pass on?
Yes, make it just probably comment on in passing within the other panelists now talk about the appointment and approval of Zainab Mosiri as the commissioner for Western area. You know, I mean, me always like to go back to the law way provide we the authority for do certain things there, because we are a nation of laws. And everything where anybody within a public office, or even you within a private office, they do their rights and obligation with the law creates. So we come back to this very complex and controversial issue of the appointment of commissioners of NEC. We don't see say in the past 2-3 years, all the commissioners the way they don't appoint NEC have been appointed in a very controversial way. Let's just go to section 32, subsection 3 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. With your permission, I will read again. It says the members of the Electoral Commission shall be appointed by the President, after consultation. So the operative words then are now 3, appointed after consultation. What it means is the President for appoint the electoral, a member of the Electoral Commission, only after he don't consult with other members or leaders of the political parties or other political parties. So basically, this is the point.
Okay.
What we understand by consultation, consultation basically means you and people and sit down. When you look at the ordinary English and dictionary meaning of what consultation is, it's not for una sit down, una discuss certain issues, there una dialogue, whether or not una agree, but there is a dialogue. Yeah. But we get a situation now where we get a letter dated 6th July 2021, where the Secretary to the President, write to the National Secretary General of various political parties them. He say, I write to inform you, the operative word now, to inform you that it has pleased His Excellency the President to appoint Mrs. Zainab Mosiri as Electoral Commissioner, Western Area. So this was the first letter with the President in Secretary writes to Secretary Generals of the various political parties. And he say in the very opening, say, I write to inform you that the President, it has pleased His Excellency to appoint. So basically, it's basically putting the cart before the horse. I mean, no one can question the authority of the President for use in executive powers of appointment with the Constitution giam. But this very Constitution will give you the authority for appoint. Also say you for follow certain procedure. And unfortunately, we see them procedures, then they did not follow them through. We get a situation where a very young lady, I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to comment on the incapacity or in qualification, but it's just on the basis that an appointment is fraught with so much controversy, does not paint a very good picture about in tenure now the commission. Parliament, we get quite a lot of opposition parties, the entirety of the APC and the NGC parliamentary candidates and some of the C4C parliamentary candidates basically walked out and say, we are not going to be a party to this charade. It's a complete charade. I mean, for me, the very authority we get for use in the functions them now as commissioner has been undermined.
Okay.
If the process not proper, then everything we follow not proper.
Okay, so O'Shea, I think I go for bring you in, but this back. In as much as opposition political parties, them, walk out of parliament the other day, but we see them pass them, they pass the bill. So, what did the NGC make of this?
Well, the NGC as a party responsible for talk for the voiceless and talk for the people of this country, believe say in parliament right now, the setup of parliament, it will be very difficult for a vote or a bill or an act or an approval of a nominee go to the well of parliament and the opposition party win them. It will be very difficult.
Okay.
Because the numbers are not there. If you check the SLPP and the APC, then get 58. Right now we get one vacant seat where they wait them for do. So anybody we get for win that day will get 59. So if APC win them, the composition of parliament will change, which means we will get SLPP in governance and in opposition in parliament, because APC will get the majority.
Okay.
So we know what's going to happen, or the delays and all the strategies and how they play and for let that not happen. So, and you know, the paramount chief the paramount chiefs, they always deal with the government, and the independent candidate then deal with the ruling government, and also some members of the C4C.
Okay.
So, but waiting COP do in the opposition now be the perfect thing. You make your position known, even a minority view. You make it known. You state your position for posterity, so people know say then walk out because they not believe that the process was right, and it don't go to the annals and the history book inside parliament and also in Australia. So everybody knows say the candidates who then put for Western area, COP not support them, APC not support them, NGC not support them, and certain C4C members not support them.
Okay.
And then they're good because we position clear and in public. It's very clear. You understand? I just want to talk about some state institutions also we bias. We're not good for witnessing democracy. I will dilate small on SLBC. I want for you this opportunity for thank AYV for giving the opportunity for express we views them and also believe say the NGC then at the democratic space and it's recognized. When the leader of NGC, Alhaji Dr. Kande Yunkela, proposed in bill, the omnibus bill, he tried to reach out to radio stations or TV stations, so he go to express society then waiting at the bill and why.
Make I just cut you small. Make we join Chernoh Bah now. We I think with technicians they don't get them now. Chernoh, welcome again.
Thank you very much. I hope so. The difficulties.
Indeed. But I'm glad we don't get you back. So let's go straight to the question. I say, one person was so vocal, and we don't see you articles them where you don't publish. Recent one we got to do with the National Electoral Commission, and the National Electoral Commission are one of the institutions them where we the probe into this evening. So the topic for today are the independence of state institutions. So what actually you may try for preach out, you may try to tell people them out there.
Well, as you National Electoral Commission are just highlight not just the current administration, but all on subject of independence of a difficult for democratic arrangement where the presidents the operations of dynamics of democracy, the parliament and the first high executive branch of government, of judges, the chief justice, all of the heads of the commission, and highlight to we state control the democratic basically how the president does succeed for hijack, make it impossible.
Wow,
in the case of the national,
we got some difficulties. You come in broken, so we need to be able to get you clear, clearly where you talk.
With the technical,
okay. I said we got some difficulties. We're not able to get you clearly. So quick one. Time done the one for B3. You know the thing them boku. Now we go. You may done the legs. That just give you something like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah. Abi they say about SLBC when Dr. Yimkela proposed an omnibus bill and they seek media attention for able to propel a message to the citizens them why the bill stalled in Parliament and some of the content inside the bill. We reach out to SLBC. We will never be given the opportunity for let Dr. Yimkela express himself or use the podium. So we know say SLBC is a state institution, right? They under the Ministry of Information and Communication. If they not they give the level playing field to opposition leaders, like not just opposition leader, but a member of parliament, we don't write a bill, for let go tell the public about what they decide the bill, when they stop them, then that's a recipe for chaos.
Yeah.
So those people where they handle them position and they're not going to do it forever. Then get for left arm. But if they make the institution become strong and viable, it they stand the test of time. So as NGC, we focus on institutional reform, make sure say we help NEC, the reform NEC, help PPRC, the reform PPRC, the judiciary. The judiciary now hold the crux of the democracy. If we can go with case and they delay and they need to watch them, but when somebody from the government need a clarification, quick, it don't happen. Let's say, for example, ACC, Anti-Corruption Commission. The opposition incorporates a letter about the candidates where they just approve. Within 72 hours, because of the corruption allegations and will be inside the audit report, the letter come out from ACC say, the woman not corrupt, everything clear. But we get cases them, we don't deal in ACC for over 12 months, 6 months, where they not even watch them.
Okay,
so what do they say?
Yeah.
We no one let somebody they pick and choose cases that get for be fast tracked.
Okay.
We are all equal before the law and we are all citizens. Let we know they choose whether for fast tracking case and whether your own case for whole put them under the box.
Okay. They can't probe into ACC quick. Chernoh, make up bring you in again, Chernoh.
yes, I hear you.
Okay, so I think now we get you clear now. You may make your point. You go just one talker now.
Well, I just to say impossible for talk about the independence of state institutions in a country where the executive branch of government, the president and the cabinet now already hijack the operations of state institutions. We see the invasion of parliament, the hijacking of the leadership of parliament will lead to the appointment of all people we definitely don't see as supporters of the current ruling party as heads of these institutions. Because now the hijacking of the leadership of parliament will lead to the approval of all the people that we talk about now, beginning with the appointment and approval of judges, chief justice, the appointment of a head of the Anti-Corruption Commission, the appointment of commissioners of the National Electoral Commission, and all of this. So it starts with the very inauguration of this government and the inauguration of parliament, where parliamentary leadership was hijacked. So for the last 3 to 4 years now, we have basically operated a country, or we don't see a government that has been running the equivalent of a one-party dictatorship under the guise of democracy, where institutions we suppose to uphold the democratic arrangement they've been hijacked from the very and starting with parliament. So everybody now, the extension of civil society, the media, everybody now the question where they are placed, because we get this pervasive violence and violation of law. So that's what we've been dealing with. Government that has no regard for separation of powers, that has no regard for the rule of law. And we should not be talking about independence of party. We should be talking about how to recover these institutions, the capture of the state, and also democratize them by also appoint people who supposedly qualify, or if we go through the real process of appointment. So I think that's the problem. Basically the SLPP under BO has hijacked our democracy from the very beginning, from the very day when they inaugurate parliament. And now we cannot talk about an effective parliament. We cannot talk about an independent judiciary. We cannot talk about an independent institutions from ACC, the rest of it. And now you have political party members, active and known members of the ruling party who are in leadership of all these institutions. And that is very dangerous because it talks about the passive legalization of a one-party dictatorship under the guise of democracy. And that is the danger that we face right now.
Okay, so make we go now. I want to make we watch now the ACC. You just want to take me along for just examining them with somebody who usually do articles them all the time. You want to examine the ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission?
Oh, the Anti-Corruption Commission is still unable to act and show the people that they're willing to fight corruption. I think the panelists before me already highlight the inadequacy of the Anti-Corruption Commission, its lack of independence, lack of will for even go after people in the current administration, regardless of evidence who we bring forward. In the past, the ACC, when they talk, say they need evidence. If when people, ordinary citizens, they talk about people corrupt under this government, they say they don't see the evidence. And we, for over a year now, the Africanist Press, including also other institutions like the Audit Service, has been presenting evidence of corruption, from management of public funds to illegal disbursement of public money to people who are not supposed to receive public money, to the wife of the president, the violation of procurement procedures, and all of this involving leading people in government from the president. We don't see a situation where the president accorded a timber export license to a private company that collected taxes and refused to pay those taxes, the required revenue to the country. The Ministry of Finance defended the company because the company has a vested interest from the people in power. Those documents have been published, the evidence is there, the ACC has never talked about it. So every time again you present evidence of corruption under the current administration, the ACC has developed its own historical approach to fighting corruption, dating 15 years, 20 years. So at this point, I think the people of Sierra Leone are aware that the ACC is not independent. The Anti-Corruption Commissioner is just an extension of the brigade that is running the country. So, and this therefore do with the fact that our institutions are not independent. We have now talk about how do we sanitize the political environment of Sierra Leone and then get the kind of institutions we require for run with democracy. I think we don't even need to look too far. The evidence is all over the place with the current standoff between Parliament and the State House regarding the appointment of Western Region Commissioner. That are just one of many examples that we've witnessed from the beginning of this government for the last 4 years. The erosion of democracy in the country, and it's Naindom even enhance the corruption rule because there is a relationship between the stealing of an election and corruption, and also the violation of procedures as well, governance procedures, an aspect of political corruption where they enhance other kinds of corruption, including financial corruption. So Anti-Corruption Commissioner has just been a spokesperson, a defender of the current government when it comes to cases and evidence of corruption involving leading officials of the government, including the wife of the president that we have shown for the last one year now.
Okay, so lastly, in your opinion, what do you feel are some of the repercussions or effects where the non-independence of some of the state institutions there so get on the country?
Well, we already have a passive one-party state, or maybe even an active one-party state. The only difference is because you get parliamentarians, other opposition parties like NGC, C4C, and APC in parliament, but the parliamentarians have no power. They have no power, or their voices are not even being listened to by the executive branch of government because the president took armed police into parliament, not only once, but twice, for enforce the dictatorial verdict of the president in parliament. So when we look at parliament, we're looking at a group of individuals who have been, whose power has been hijacked from the very beginning. So regardless of how they protest, regardless of what they say, in dealing So that is how they are able to impose an anti-corruption commissioner whose qualifications were even challenged from the very beginning. That is how they are able to choose a known official party supporter whose qualification or merit was also questioned. So every appointment that has been made has gone through because we don't get a parliamentary able for act, because the power of parliament was seized by president and executive branch of government, and that is how they have basically hijacked the entire operation of government. So we are talking about a one-party state that is dressed with the clothes of democracy, and that is what we have to fight against. That is what we have to campaign against to restore our democracy. We do not have a democratic environment where, regardless of how you talk about the removal of public order acts or libel laws, people are still being arrested and jailed because they speak against government. Some people are afraid to speak out because they fear there are repercussions. Parliamentarians cannot even invite ministers to parliament. They won't listen. Remember, parliament, NGC and APC even invite the bank governor to answer the question regarding the allocation of public money, the Minister of Finance. They never went there. They don't even care because, as far as they are concerned, the leadership of parliament has been hijacked by the executive. So we do not have separation of powers. We cannot talk about democracy where power is not separated, where power is not decentralized, where the rule of law is not respected, and all of that. So we cannot talk about independence of institutions when the executive branch has commandeered governance in this fashion. We have to call it what it is. It's a one-party state. That is what we have. The only difference there is because their elections have been organized, violence is taking place. They don't catch somebody, an electoral officer that's stealing 100 votes, that added 100 votes to the ruling party in favor of the ruling party. If you vote more than once in a democratic arrangement like we have, now a criminal offense, that individual should be arrested. Now we have a known electoral officer who has been identified to have voted 100 votes in favor of the ruling party. That individual is still going about business. In fact, as we speak, has been made assistant director of operation ahead of 2 crucial by-elections. That is somebody who has committed electoral offense. He should be under detention now while investigations happen regarding how he can vote 100 votes in favor of the ruling party. So the police cannot arrest him. The court, there is no way they can implement the law because it's done in favor of government. So that is how the country is. Laws are not respected. The rule of law has no place. Power is not separated. So how can you talk about independence of institutions when they've all been hijacked? They've all been commanded by the executive branch of government.
Okay, thank you when you make time for joining me on the program, Chernoh Bah. Despite to get difficulties for connect with you. Thank you so much, Chernoh. So make a come quickly. Time though actually be 3. We only get something like 4 minutes more. We're not able to talk more on ACC, but quick one, Adi Macaulay. I want to make you watch political motivated investigations at the ACC. What do you say to this?
Well, to be honest with you, this is one area where I not go like for obvious reasons.
Okay.
But what I go say is this: we have a section under the Anti-Corruption Act, when Section 42 and 43 of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008, where they deal with abuse of office and abuse of position. Abuse of office, now we do use your office for, confer an advantage of another person or on yourself. We see clearly Usai, a tallying officer at the National Electoral Commission in Ward 155, during the tallying of elections in Ward 155, not only in the Kabbalah tallying center, but in the tallying center in Freetown in Wellington. Then Ketcham, they change votes from 49 to 149. Basically, that is an offense under the Section 42 and 43 of the Anti-Corruption Commission. And I believe, say, this now one case where ACC no need for even wait for they go make a report.
How about the 49,000 bags of rice?
Well, the 49,000 bags of rice, the commissioner be promised, we say, we're a reformer. Well, we still wait for a reformer.
Okay, so what's going to be last word?
My last word is this. Ever so often, and for a very long time, and this is not the first time, we don't hear people that they tell, we say, oh, with money, we don't cancel, you don't get a political arrangement where now 10 years, each president we can the rule, then you go. People, the way they talk that word, they hallucinate, like saying something they eat, where they make the sense that not there about them. I mean, if we accept that kind cheap talk there, You know what he mean? Say this country not go before, because once president win an election for him first time, he go sit there full land, full foot, and each himself and in family, and talk say, even if I know fall on the commitment they were making me a political party manifesto, even if I not bring any development, I not do nothing, I know say I get 10 years. You now also sit on, they know say when elections come 2023, you vote now for determine who that will be the next president.
Okay, so Oshe.
Yeah, I just believe say NGC has been vindicated. The people of Sierra Leone, we as the National Grand Coalition, we have been vindicated by a recent report written by European Union. Plenty people call we party, waiting, survey party, we look for institutional reform, we need to do the normal salon practice. The normal salon practice don't wreck we for 50 years. It is time for change the dimension, for shift the goalpost and try new thing. It is possible. If it's possible in Rwanda, if it's possible in Ghana, if it's possible in Kenya, it's possible in Salon. Okay. There is all possibilities that progressive can come together and govern Salon and change the dynamics. But just give me a minute, make I read what the EU say. Seconds. What the EU say, we vindicates the NGC. It says the mission has been told that there is a significant decrease in the trusts of essential bodies which play integral role in the forthcoming election. These include the judiciary, NEC, PPRC, and the police. Our findings are that these institutions' reputation are less trusted than is needed. But further, our assessment is that there are real grounds of concern in a way in which these bodies have administered recent by-elections. Okay. So it clears others who are doubting NGC not contesting by-election that we have a real reason not to contest by-election, because we believe institutional reforms that are named in these reports should be the main priority of Sierra Leoneans. People who want peace. Election, we don't vote. Waiting, it don't bring win at the table. How many jobs it don't bring win? How many people they don't transform the life? But if we focus on making sure that then institutions will guarantee peace and democracy, reform, then we will begin contest election, we will begin get free and fair election, we will begin get people that will get integrity, we will defend the rights and democracy of this country.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We want to give me time this evening for now the program. Thank you, Adi Macaulay. Thank you to you, Oshe from the NGC, and also we may get Chernoh Bah from on Zoom or from the Africanist Press. Well, I saw the program, the Lefuna, for today. So till we get for come back next month, I just want to say plenty thank you to all we sponsors them, NGC UK and I, and all the other one that really put hands together for make this program come to Una. Arthur Pias and Musa Kamara, and them produce this program. So till next month, me your name now Dr. Duma, they say bye-bye.
We have added another problem, which is making things even worse, which is taking us backwards and not forward. And what is that? It is the seeming policy of division and exclusion, marginalization of a certain group. That is not good for business. The political instability and tension is not encouraging investment. Division on tribal lines does not consolidate peace. It perpetuates resentment. Now, yesterday, in the opening statement of our leaders, we were inspired in so many ways that we saw that our leaders, for the first time, admitting to faults and willing to take responsibility. But we also see that there is a big gap between rhetoric and reality. We are preaching peace, yet we are undermining those institutions that foster peace. We can give countless examples, but I don't want to bore you right now with examples. Let me just mention a few. You cannot preach peace and you're sacking people who are guaranteed with security of tenure under the Constitution and the statute.
Yes, we have received a letter now from the HR. This is my letter of termination of contract of SSL.
Alpha Somali Kote. Alpha Somali Kote. Edward Bangura. Edward Bangura.
Termination.
Mohamed Kago. Mohamed Kago.
See, this is termination of service.
They are going to cry foul, as you know. We have to change certain people when we come in. It's done all over the world. Biden did his, and nobody will accuse him of tribalism, regionalism, and that's the same thing that is done in the UK and elsewhere around the world. But for the most part, we have not pushed out anybody from the civil service.
Yeah, but in certain offices, you'd expect that somebody shouldn't lose their job because, of a change in establishment.
Like which office?
Like in certain parastatals, lots of people lost their jobs when he became president. Not necessarily because of fraudulently or
I'm going to be judged by my performance and delivery. If you are in the opposition and you are going to be a hurdle in my way, I have to get somebody who understands me, who believes in my own manifesto pledges.
A hurdle by not supporting you, or a hurdle by undermining your establishment, or what?
Both. But they do a range of things, with completely unnecessary.
Should somebody lose their job, Mr. President, because they did not support you?
I did not talk about support.
You said both, Mr. President.
Maybe if somebody does not support me, he is likely to be a hurdle. Much more likely to be a hurdle.
You cannot preach peace and you impose a speaker on parliament against the majority party in parliament. We cannot preach peace when it seems like appointments are being done on tribal lines.
Statistics matter, and that's what I don't do. If we look, some of them rest from 235,000 to 360,000 for bag. If you look pint oil, cooking oil, from 3,500 to 6,000. If you look rest per cup, from 1,200 to 2,000. The one way hit me heavy, then there's a way ask somebody, say the cup pepper from 700 to 4,000. So when you look at why I choose them commodity, then I don't think they go every day, go buy in the market, can cook. So man, they cooking 1 cup rice plus all this, the whole family, 5, 6 people, they eat. So when them price here begin jump, so it means that the poverty hard. And yes, they don't raise salaries of people, but they keep pace with the price inflation of them basic essential commodities here. So times are hard.
This expectation, not alone, now we get for change. Nobody, not the change economy overnight. As a nation, I want to make you understand one thing, that there is no quick fix to national issues or problems. If we want to bring happiness, it's not going to be in 2 years or 3 years. With COVID, we don't take already 1 year. We know the meet, we know the, as we talk, we go for cover, we know the whole world come to a standstill. But what we don't do is, now forgive hope, say, what we say we go do, we don't start for do a lot of the things there under very difficult circumstances at the time, at this particular point in time. You cannot run any country or even an organization with a battered economy. So we knew we were going to meet with a very difficult situation, and we were equally prepared. We had planned for victory, and so when we got the victory, I selected J.J. Safari, whom you just mentioned, to lead my team of economists for economic recovery. Have they done a commendable job? Yes, I would say. And that is why they are still there. If not, they will not be there. What did we do? We have a lot of resources. We have not managed them properly. And therefore, we have been dependent on the support of donor partners for a very large extent. And we need them. They are allies in our fight against poverty, in our fight to surge forward in development, and the rest of the activities we are engaged in. We needed to win the confidence of those allies. So what did we do? Well, we made a commitment to them. But I must say first that they had left this country already. Why? Because we, as a country, the former leadership was never listening to them, and there was poor economic management, high inflation, huge debts. You to take over a country like this. So with all of that in mind, we decided we were going to do what was necessary for economic recovery. And one of the things we did was to, one, gain the respect and confidence of our partners. And we engaged them, made a commitment to them with certain reforms, and we engaged with those reforms, and they later realized that we meant business and we were committed. So the IMF came on board, and in the review by the board, they accepted a 3-year economic reform for Sierra Leone, economic program for Sierra Leone by the economic recovery. They would help us. But what is important about the IMF is the fact that when you have a program with the IMF, it gives you a clean bill of health, which other organizations around the world we always look at before they engage with you. So once we got the IMF on board, the others started to come back, especially donor countries that had abandoned Sierra Leone because of poor economic management. The World Bank and other institutions noticed that we were serious and committed. So that was how they came back. And the rest is history. You can see their participation. You can see even in the middle of COVID, we were able to get over 100 million United States dollars. That was a sign of confidence in our capacity to efficiently lead this country economically.
When the SLPP made a campaign before they come into governance, the current Minister of Finance and people who made the campaign, they come, then tell the people of this country, say within 6 months, then we'll fix the bread and butter issues of this country. These are 3 years down the line. So for let we say we still need more time, indeed, but not to overtake, we go backwards and we move way forward. The bread and butter issues, 6 months by 5, has still not been fixed. But then have been a commitment. And then we know the challenges, because I believe that the Minister of Finance is seasoned and experienced economist. So before he make that statement, and he must don't do research, he must don't investigate, and not just talk them. So for let it come and not able to fix them, the people then this, the hardship increase, then I am afraid. And with all due respect again, I agree with the president. They say insatisfied. Because I ministers, I mean, true, if you not be satisfied, we don't pull them there. But we as opposition, definitely we're not satisfied with the way the economy they go. We're not comfortable with the way the economy they go, because we believe, say, hardship don't increase in the country. But let me promise we say in 6 months, then we'll fix them. So now, 6 months after, 2 years after, 3 years after, we not going to be satisfied. And I should say most Sierra Leoneans, most Still they complain because we mix with the ordinary man and woman on the street on a daily basis. So the economy not something we'll be proud of at all. And this thing about IMF, we get a good relationship with the IMF. So for say the IMF be don't left with, the IMF not be left with. No, we work with the donors until the last minute. They may still give me money, they may still support this government. We got government in 2018. And they may do one because they see the prudence in what they will do. But let's not forget, always closer to elections. In any developing economy, donors can slow down because they're not in one lay, you concentrate by your politics, then you expect for use resources. We not to, probably for the intended purpose, but definitely with programs them in their life, them in their own. Just that when they come back, they get for go for every year you go to the IMF board. So the thing that we then go for, now for the one day for the year, then you don't forget in 2018. Before elections, the 2017 December board will not approve a project for government and they will not release money. So yes, we will deal with government. We will deal with it.
This government, every week, they get explanation. Every week, something they happen, we pass them can explain. It is tell people and they fed up with the explanation. And that is what we are doing now.
And there must be no sacred cows. So I encourage all Sierra Leoneans to join me to fight corruption. This is just the beginning.
The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the vote. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can you lie? Why can you steal? Why can you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that's why we vote you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and little abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. And don't and no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.